I'm Tom Scioli, and I'm the author of Godzilla's Monsterpiece Theater, and here it is.
Congratulations,
Oh, thanks,
Tom.
Matt.
I'm so happy for you,
Yeah, this
Tom.
is issue 1. Issue 2, the pre-order date for issue 2 is Monday, is right now. So let your comic book store know that you want issue 2, because they got to get those orders in, I think, by like midnight tonight, maybe earlier, depending on what time zone you live in.
I got mine in.
Oh, you got your order in.
My
Great.
order's in,
Okay,
so
cool.
I'm the proud owner of at least 2 copies of it.
Oh, cool.
I'm trying to collect all the variants.
Yeah,
so,
nice. Yeah,
very
Good
exciting.
luck with that.
Congrats, man.
Oh, thanks.
I'm obsessed with this cover too. By the way, it's already this thing's been out such a short time. That cover's seems to me already iconic, like an iconic cover. You know what I mean? Like the color, the look, very cool.
Yeah, it's nice to see it in person. I haven't gotten my comp copies yet. it's just kind of the way it goes. Sometimes they just arrive when they arrive. So sometimes I get them before the comic comes out. Sometimes I get them after. So.
Is this your first time seeing like the physical version of it?
No, because I've done a couple signings, and so I've seen them at the signings. But yeah, I don't have a copy of it in my house yet.
You incorporated The Great Gatsby so well into this. Reading the lines from The Great Gatsby juxtaposed against these images and the characters, it's awesome, man.
Thanks. Yeah, it pretty much could just be a Gatsby. The first couple pages in, it could just be like a Gatsby comic, and then 6 or 7 pages in, then it's like, okay,
I love this character.
We've taken a turn. Tom Buchanan, yeah, the villain of the original novel. He's a major character in this this new series, but there's enough other villains.
Great depiction of Gatsby's manor here.
Yeah.
They're still dancing while Godzilla's burning.
Oh, this dance floor is getting pretty hot, like that kind of thing.
I get pumped for this action right here. This is awesome.
It's fun to see it because I spent so much time with this, but it's still it's like on my iPad, and so it's one thing to spend all this time with something, but then to see it in the book, it's always a lot of fun. These pages, my initial script, you don't see Godzilla until he's in Manhattan. The first time you see Godzilla is the one page where Godzilla's kind of looming over the skyline. That would be the first time, in my initial script, that would be the first time you'd see Godzilla. Because I thought okay, just like in the Godzilla movies, I'm going to hold off on showing Godzilla, until, you're just going to see the effects of Godzilla. You're going to see the destruction, you're going to see the fire, but you're not going to see him. He's going to always, be just out of sight. But then after some consideration and talking to the editor and stuff, it's yeah, people want it's a Godzilla comic. People want to see Godzilla. Let's move him a little more to the beginning.
He's in here the right amount.
I feel that way too. In a movie, you'd have to wait a little longer for Godzilla to show up, but this isn't a movie. This is a comic. But I also wanted to strategically deploy Godzilla, and I think I still managed to do that.
I love Daisy's I love the shapes that are in her dress in the light too. I'm this is just beautiful stuff here.
Have you had a chance to go back and read The Great Gatsby?
Not yet.
Okay.
I've been I have a copy somewhere, and I'm trying to find it. Look at that.
The iconography of Godzilla where he is lifting up the train, and then I thought yeah, what if you're seeing it from inside the train, and then he chomps down on the train, and what would that look like inside as the teeth are coming in?
Yeah,
so that would have been that in my initial script. That would have been the first time you'd see Godzilla. So you're probably halfway through the book, and then Godzilla shows up. The era is so much fun because then you get to have some fun with the cars, with the architecture, a horse-drawn ice cart.
Oh, this is sick.
Yeah, that's the atmospheric effects, and then some old-fashioned fire truck, some firefighters that are kind of like the Keystone Cops or something. One thing that didn't manage to make it into this, but one of my ideas was sort of have Harold Lloyd in it, hanging from a clock.
That would be
as
so
Godzilla's
sick.
Stomping through. Didn't make the final cut.
The way you draw Godzilla is just so great.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. It's and I practiced, and I retouch and go back over it, and okay, is it there yet or what?
He's the right look of like scary and fun.
Right,
like
yeah,
the perfect balance of like how
the smile and eyes, I think, make him like extra scary.
Yeah,
like there's sort of like an irony to it.
Charging up here, the G-force.
The G-force, a Godzilla thing, but
he's like
we have a different explanation for it.
It's the Gatsby.
Yeah,
he's like,
Gatsby
you named it
force.
after the. He's like, you named it after yourself.
Making sure that he says "old sport" like just the right amount of times, not too much, not too little. You know,
I pop every time I see that. I'm gonna incorporate that into my life.
Old sport. You're gonna see it make a comeback.
I love
the iceberg. That's Godzilla. Yeah. Hey, teasing the Godzilla meets the Titanic.
He rescues Jack.
Right, yeah.
Billy Zane's like shooting at him from the boat.
Jack is like sitting on top of Godzilla's head as he comes out of the water.
Rose kills Godzilla. She throws like the diamond necklace. He swallows it. He's like, that
was one of my first like images in my head was Sherlock standing in a giant Godzilla footprint.
I love the game as a foot. There he is. I also like how you made him a little like on the older side.
Well, yeah,
too. I love that.
It's placing them in the era because, Sherlock Holmes was like an 1890s character. So what's he going to look like in the 1920s? You know, so I had to age him up, and he credits his diet of royal jellies. Yeah.
He got his diet from
his longevity
from Mal Evans. He gave him all this
all the toast. With honey slathered on it, honey and butter.
We go Jules Verne. Cyber.
That was another one because like Jules Verne. Okay, how's Jules Verne still still kicking in the 1920s? Oh, okay, he's secretly a cyborg.
Dude, also I was reading his dialogue like out loud. Like it was so much fun to even. I was like, I kind of like. We just be told. Also, read this out loud. I like to read like when I'm in my for fun. Like
if a comic holds up being read aloud, then
that's what I was doing. So like it was like so much fun to read.
How do you like the little coffee setup? Like, doesn't that look so good?
So delicious. Oh, the chimney sweep.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What?
Dick Van Dyke.
I was thinking of that, but I like it's like. The Choim's a big band.
But this can't possibly be Dick Van Dyke because the accent in this is spot on. Where Dick Van Dyke's is like on another planet.
Always warms me heart.
Dick Van Dyke, Gilbert Gottfried interviewed Dick Van Dyke and he was giving him shit about the accent and Dick Van Dyke got like really mad. And not mad at Gilbert, but just you could tell like he's been getting like
shit from this.
Yeah, he's been getting shit about his British accent but he's like, I swear, like I had a dialogue coach, and if you met this dialogue coach, it was the exact accent he had. It was like a very particular region, but like this was like I was speaking exactly the way this guy talks. Like just because there's no other person in England that talks the way this guy talks, like don't blame me.
Yeah, the dialogue coach you got was like a one of a kind.
Exactly. Yeah.
And he's like, how did I get this fucking
yeah.
guy? Love
his dialogue coach like chewed on lead paint. Now this page,
where we're at.
That page was a late addition. Like when I was like through the writing process and stuff, that was a late addition, and I think it's my favorite page in the issue.
Love this, dude. Like, oh my god, I look at this, the three,
and it's got the very minimalist colors, and it's kind of funny looking at this because I'm working on the final issue. So like looking at this issue, it kind of struck me like how in your face the colors are, and like how the variety of colors and stuff, because as the story goes on it gets more and more sort of pared down, and more like the colors get more and more like this, like kind of very, very minimal. So I was kind of surprised. I'm like, oh yeah, it was a lot more maximal. Like in the beginning it goes from maximal to minimal.
This is beautiful. And then dude, I love Godzilla's got to fight the biplanes.
Yeah, biplanes and triplanes. There's a couple triplanes in there too.
Oh shit! Oh yeah.
It's kind of fun putting Godzilla in this milieu, and I don't know that anybody's like, I know people have done like stories of Godzilla in various eras, but it's kind of interesting because it's close to his era, but still far enough away that like you can have Godzilla get attacked by planes, but like having them be biplanes and stuff is kind of cool. Then being in New York as opposed to Tokyo.
Look
and
at
then
this.
The double spread.
Oh
now,
my god.
Jack Kirby would always put double spreads in his comics, but they were always early. They would always be the second page. Like you'd have the first page would be a splash page, and then you turn the page and you get like a double splash. And to me, that always felt kind of like, it's like his, like those, that's like my favorite moment of his comics are when you get to double splash. But in terms of drama, it always felt like they peaked early. You get your big moment and then you get the rest of the comic. And usually the last panel or the last couple pages are like, small panels or whatever. And I thought like, okay, if I'm like, so the Jack Kirby tradition is to put the double splash up front, but I'm like, actually, you want to build to your double splash. So I'm going to save like this big Godzilla moment for like later in this, like right towards, I think it's the next to last page.
Yeah.
And then you get the little denouement. So like to have it there. Now, of course, like I'm sure Jack Kirby would have liked to put the double splash wherever he would have liked. It's just back in those days, by making it the second and third pages, that was the only way he could guarantee that it wouldn't somehow get split up, because sometimes in the production there'd be like ads or things, like various ads in various places. So it's like, okay, this way I know that if I put it on the second and third pages, it's not going to be broken up by ads. So comics nowadays typically don't like break up your story with ads these days. So.
Like, yeah, we were just looking at that comic. They had like Konk's Adventure or whatever. This actually, like, I popped because I didn't expect there to be a splash when I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's a good moment. And yeah, you can
turn
it sideways.
And,
have a little poster effect. Like working on a comic, it is a little bit like a snapshot in time, or like a home movie or something, because just looking at all these pages like in the book, it's like, oh, I remember working on that. I remember what was on my mind. I remember what was going on, when I was drawing that.
Yeah, it's like like an album is like a snapshot when you were recording it, when you remember like everything surrounding it. Godzilla just looks humongous.
Right, because up to that point, he hasn't been bigger.
We get a preview of the next
issue. That's pretty cool.
Dude, I love like signs and little like tags that like the Gatsby sub.
The G-force.
I like how Godzilla's scales are like up the back of the G.
Yeah.
This is like reminds me like Mario Brothers, like
right.
the water
the
level
underwater.
in Mario. It's so awesome.
Yeah, that cover was one I was just playing with it for so, and it's like, ooh, should I try this? Should I try this? Should I? It was so much fun. Like it really went through several iterations. I should do a post or maybe a video or something where I show the various iterations of how it got there, because it was like an evolution process.
Yeah. So awesome.
So yeah, that's it. Godzilla Monsterpiece Theater. It's real. It was something we talked about here. Something that was just a little a gleam in my eye, however many months ago, and then here it is. Yeah, we'll see you next time.